play the game with the people that writing the rules. Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really want to do. And lonely at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Niner Sickness with my boy Pete and Brandon. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Just
Doing
beautiful.
good,
Are you
Doing
ready
good.
for a great postseason and chances to make the Super Bowl?
You're funny. You're funny.
I mean, we got the
think they
we
said
got the
it's like
we got the roster, don't we?
Yeah. It said we have a 15% chance, I believe, is what it what
To
they
make the
said.
playoffs or to make the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
To make the
To make the
playoffs.
Oh, dang. Well,
So there's
at
still
least
a
the
chance.
Rams. At least the Rams didn't win.
Well, we don't know.
And you know what? We allowed a lot of yards against us, but the Rams gave up 255 yards. 255 yards, man, to Barkley. That's crazy. And 2 touchdowns. So, you know what? The Rams suck worse than we do. Just wanted to throw that out there. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is doing amazing. What's up, Daniel Burry Sports Highlights? Welcome to the podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, we took a fat L on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. Now, we were without Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, and a few others. Charvarius Ward has not been able to play. We all know why, and we all understand why. But it was tough. For those that don't like Brock Purdy, I just want to give you a little glimpse of what it's going to look like if we decide not to pay him. You're going to face a lot of Brandon Allen type of football. And I don't know about you guys, but Brock Purdy might not be Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, but he's a hell of a quarterback, and we have better odds of winning than we do without him. So that was a glimpse of what it looks like without Brock Purdy. So I don't want to hear none of that garbage next offseason. Don't pay him. He's not worth 65. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Watch Allen play. So what's up, Tim Diaz? What's up, Papa J in the house? What's up, gentlemen? So I'm going to give it to you real quick, Brandon. What were your thoughts and your outlook of the game against the Packers? And then I'll pass it on to Mr. Pete.
We got embarrassed, bro. Defense didn't show up. Offense didn't show up, especially with our backup quarterback. The only person that was having a game, honestly, on Sunday was George Kittle. Jordan Mason had one carry for 7, 8, 9 yards, and then you didn't see him again. We were out-coached, outplayed, and outscored. It was an embarrassment. That's not Niner football that we all know, and something needs to change. And I'm not saying to get rid of Kyle Shanahan. I'm saying play calling, like everything, just needs to change. Like it just doesn't seem like this is a well-known 49ers team that we all know the past couple of years.
Yeah. Before I give it to you, Pete just came to mind. Did any of you guys see on the sideline Jake Moody go up to Debo and slap him for having a bad game? I'm just curious.
No.
Nope.
Because if there was a time to do it, it was then.
Yeah. He should have
Two
walked in
drop
and lock
balls,
in.
bro.
Lock
Two drop
in.
balls.
Yeah. Debo, you're being paid a lot of money. What's going on, bro? So this just
Sad,
showcased
bro.
that when Debo went up to try to encourage Moody my ass.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself, Debo. Focus on yourself. That pass was kind of high from Brandon Allen, but you know what? He should have caught
It
it. That
still went through his
interception.
hands, bro.
It
Yep.
went through his hands.
Yep.
Like,
So
you can't-
that was all Debo, bro. So that you
Yeah.
can't blame that on the quarterback. Yes, we didn't have Brock, but it didn't matter who we had. He still would have caused that interception because it went through his hands. It didn't hit him on the side. He didn't have to overreach a bad throw. Actually, it wasn't a bad throw.
it was really right here. It was right there.
Tell us, Pete.
And like his hands were literally like this. The ball just right through it. And then it happened again.
Yep.
The exact like on the other side. And
Well, at least it's consistent, right?
yeah, I mean it can. I mean, he's already been consistent at not running routes correctly and not blocking. So I mean, you might as well be consistent and not catching now.
Let's give the complete package a failure, right?
Yeah, let's just make him a run. Let's just do. I guess he just wants to be a running back full time. Maybe that's what's happening. He wants to be a running back full time, so he's going to show them exactly how bad he is at wide receiver, and then Kyle will just make him a running back.
Yeah, I hear you guys, man. And Christian McCaffrey did not have a good game. He didn't run for much. It looked like when they brought in Jordan Mason, he had a nice run. Since you haven't actually spoken yet completely, Pete, I'm going to give this to you. What's going on with Kyle, man? Why stick with Christian McCaffrey just because he's who he is, the name behind his back, when you saw what the burst and the effort that Mason brought in when he had that one shot?
I mean, Kyle tells you what it is all the time. He tells us to our face, but we just don't want to believe what he says because we're thinking, oh, I mean, how could he possibly think that way all the time? But he tells us he's going to put the people that he thinks is the best. He wants the best player out there at all times. He doesn't. I'm telling you, he almost thinks of it like Madden, like there's really with the injuries turned off. Like he thinks that there's not going to be any injuries. He thinks that there's not going to be any Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. So it doesn't matter. He's going to figure it out. And even when there's results to the contrary, and Jordan Mason is just he's got 711 yards so far this season. That's without the last two games. With having hardly any carries the last two games. He'd probably be close to 1,000 yards right now if he was given more touches. And it's baffling, from a fan standpoint, just because it's just such an obvious thing, and Kyle continues to not do the obvious things that we all have complained for years now that he won't do. And it's almost like he does it out of spite because people are telling him he should do it. So he's like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. When you think I'm going to zig, I'm going to zag every single time, even if it means that it's going to hurt the team. And yeah, it is what it is. I've been saying for a while now that I think Kyle they changed their philosophy on the identity of this team a while ago, and they just don't have the players to implement it properly. I think he's still trying to run a new philosophy with the same players that he had before, and that's not gonna work. It's just not. He doesn't have the speed on the field to do what he wants to do in the passing game. He doesn't have the route runners, honestly, to be able to do that as well. It's another thing that's baffling to me is the fact that, and we were talking about this on Twitter today, is that you draft Pearsall, so everybody sees that as the writing on the wall that that either they weren't going to re-sign Ayuk or they were going to let Debo go the next season, because for sure they couldn't afford to have all three and sign Brock Purdy. And what they did was they restructured Debo, so now you can't even get rid of him. Now you can't get rid of him.
Well, you
just signed
can,
Brandon
but you're
Ayuk.
going to pay a pretty penny.
You're going to pay out the $31 million in
Yep.
dead cap money. Like, they're not getting rid of him. So now you've
Honestly,
got both of them.
Honestly, I don't think they were ever going to get rid of him next year.
I don't think so. Well, I did. As soon as they restructured him, I think that was a sign to everybody that they weren't going to get rid of him. I think that he's one of Kyle's guys, and Debo talks all the time about him and Kyle having a special relationship, all that other nonsense. But you can't let that blind you to the fact that the guy's underperforming, and he's not doing well. It's not 2021 anymore. This is now 3 years, almost going on 4 years later, and he's got a lot of injuries. He doesn't have the burst that he had before, and he can't catch, apparently now. So I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's this season hasn't definitely gone the way we thought. A lot of it had to do with injuries.
We could be here for hours.
But
we could be here for hours talking about all the weird shit that's going on. Oh, sorry.
This
the weird stuff that's going on.
Truly, it's like it's 2020 all over again, it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, we lost quite a few players to injury, but we still have a few. So I hear what you mean by 2020, but I think a lot of it has been coaching, a defensive coach trying to figure out who he is, trying to figure out his niche with that defense. He hasn't figured out what he wants to do. Special teams has been crap all year long, and the Niners haven't been able to get it together. So my question to you, Brandon, is, are you hitting the panic button based on what you've seen and including injury? Are you hitting the panic button? And I don't mean like panic like, oh my God, we suck, but more of the chances of making the playoffs, in your opinion, not nobody else's, not ESPN, NFL Network, your opinion based on what you've seen with your eyes. Do you think the Niners can still make the playoffs? Or do you think even if they get players back, it's just too hard to get there? We're kind of so far behind the 8 ball.
Bro, let me just put it out there right now. Our season's done. Don't even think about playoffs anymore. We're completely done. 1-3 in the division, 5-6 in the conference and overall. There's no way in hell that we're going to be making playoffs. And I'm not gonna lie. I think we're losing next week also, especially in the snow. So yeah, we're done. Move on to next season. That's it. Pack your bags. We're done. I'm at that point now.
Interesting. Pete, are you kind of feeling what Brandon's feeling, or do you have a little bit more hope? Is there certain things that the Niners can still do, in your opinion? Maybe do this or do that and turn it around now that hopefully the window's opening for Greenlaw and defensively, or is it a little too late even if he comes back, in your opinion?
I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at it, but me being selfish as a fan, I want them to keep trying to go out there and win. I don't care about. I don't think you go out there and I've never been a believer in tanking, ever. I think that is, it cheats the game, it cheats the fans. I know that
for
there's
better
so much
draft
money involved.
position, yeah.
I've never believed in that. I don't think it sets a good precedence. And teams that do that normally they stay bad. I'm hoping that I think that I don't care how many guys are out. I still think that they have the horses to be able to get some wins. Can they do it? I mean, the odds are very much against them. They basically can't lose more than one game. I believe. Shout out to BD Peacock Locked On. They were putting out the odds today they were talking about the odds today on their show, and it basically if they lose, they can lose one more game and still end up being 10-7. They think that the division is just so bad that might be able to win the division.
Well,
If they go 10-7.
2 weeks ago, Seattle was going to be in last place. They beat us, and now they won and beat the Arizona. Now they're in first place within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You went from being
Oh, yeah.
in last place to first place. So that explains a lot about our division. So you're correct. If we can just kind of fix some things here and there and pull out some wins. But with that said, even let's say we win our division because it's really that bad. Do you think that we can actually win our first playoff game depending who we play?
I mean, once the playoffs start, it's anybody's game. It's whoever gets hot at the right time. And it's always a possibility because I think that the 49ers have good players. Even their backups, I feel like, are pretty solid. And then it becomes about, I think a lot of it comes down to can Shanny do right by these players and run an offense that accentuates their strengths and not just runs his offense and expects them to fit into it. Like that, I think that's where we are as an offense right now. And he still isn't. It doesn't look like he's trying anything to take advantage of the strengths of the guys that are on the field. So until he starts doing that, I mean, I think it's always a possibility that the light will go off, the light bulb will click on, and they can hit another gear. Absolutely. I mean, I have the hope that they can do that. But the odds are stacked heavily against them. So it is what it is. But I'm prepared for whatever comes. I just want to see him fight.
Yeah, I don't want to see too many 38-10 type of games. Now,
No.
I understand we didn't have our starting quarterback. We didn't have our starting defensive end. And as many people may agree or disagree with me or us, those are there are very strong points on our quarterback being not in the game, how important Brock Purdy is to this offense, and how important Nick Bosa. I know a lot of people see or want to see the sack column, right? Like he doesn't have all these sacks, but they don't realize how important that or how different that defense is without him in the lineup. The pressures weren't there, the hurries. So even though I do got to say that the Niners in the second half started to play a little bit better in the front line and kind of control that gashing and dashing from the run game that we completely gave up in the first quarter or first half. Leonard Floyd kind of stepped up and put his footprint on that game. It was a little bit too late because we couldn't do nothing offensively, but going into Buffalo against Josh Allen, if Brock Purdy doesn't go, if Nick Bosa is not available, Pete, what do you think this game's going to turn out to be? You think it's going to be another kind of Packers game? Because let's be honest, the Packers were trying to give the game away, like we said off the air. You said off the air. They were trying to give away the game. There were a couple of interceptions that Jordan Love threw that our guys did not catch. I don't think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will make those same mistakes. What do the Niners got to do to go into Buffalo without Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa and pull out a win?
Honestly, I don't think it's about Josh Allen. I think it's about their running game. And have the Bills gotten to the point finally to where they're using their running backs to complement
they're running the ball very well this year, bro. I watched a couple of games.
I know they are, but are they doing it? I know they are. It's a lot better than what they have in the past. And have they gotten to a point where they trust it more than enough to let Josh Allen kind of almost take the night off, just take the night off, and we see that the Niners can't stop the run, so we're just going to let the running game take over. Because if they do that, there's a good chance that they're going to run over the Niners. The way that the Niners have been playing run defense, but the way the Niners have been playing quarterbacks hasn't been so bad. Yes, they give up rushing yards, but passing wise, they haven't given up like how much did they give up to Pat Mahomes at the like 160 yards? They gave last week. They gave up this past game. They didn't give up 200 yards. The game before that, they didn't give up 200 yards. Like they're not giving up a lot of pass yards. It's just on the ground. They cannot stop the run, and teams are just nickel and diming them to death. Like so, when
And
we
how much of
like,
it, how much of that is because of our lack of linebacking core? We don't have Greenlaw for one, and then like you said,
Yep.
I think Warner's playing hurt, and he's not revealing it. But I don't think he's at 100% because you can see it in him. He's trying to be there, but he can't get
he's
there.
guessing.
Yes.
He's guessing, and he's not playing his off of his.
And
normal
when do you
keys.
guess
Like,
more?
that's what
It's
it
when
looks
you're
like
hurt
to
and
me.
you're trying to implement you're trying to
Hey, I'll be right
what can
back.
I do? Okay, what can I do to implement my play because I'm hurt? They start doing the guessing game, right? And that's what he's doing, and it's killing him because he's more of a guy that likes to react.
Yep. And they don't do a lot of blitzing either, which helps him in that he's a good read and react guy. Like he's really good reading the play and kind of feeling where the running back is going, and it helps a lot out in the run defense game. But the other issue is we have, I mean, our interior. I think it would help them a ton. You noticed in the second half they went to Evan Anderson like a lot, and
Yeah.
it kind of helped a lot in the run game. I really wish they would just beef up the interior of the line, like using these smaller defensive tackles to get penetration in the pass game is just killing them. It's killing them in the run defense, and like we talked about it ad nauseum for years that Javon Hargrave was not a run stuffing defensive tackle, and Eric Armstead was dependent on being that. Well, guess what? Malik Collins is like a carbon copy of Javon Hargrave to a lesser extent, and he's a little bit better than Javon Hargrave in the run defense, but he's not much better. And you saw the defensive line was getting blown off the ball. They just don't have the size at defensive line to do anything in the run defense. And the 49ers have depended on those guys to be fast and fly upfield against the pass, but it's just not working out because they don't have the linebacking core to back them up. And whether Greenlaw makes any difference, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be enough because it's just. But I think it'll help Warner out just to have somebody he recognizes. They know each other's game. So yeah, we'll see.
Well,
But like,
listen,
I just
our
think it's a lot of difference.
secondary hasn't been bad. I understand we're missing Charvarius Ward, and I understand that he's going through what he's going through, and something like that. You can't. It's not like an injury where you can rush him back. Losing your child is tough, man. But Lenore is playing ball. You got Renardo Green that is stepping up. You got our two safeties. So, like you said, we haven't been giving a lot of air yards to quarterbacks, but that run game, because of our lack of ability to stop the running back, it's just killing us. I mean, they're gashing us on the outside, they're gashing us in the inside, and it's like the Niners are rotating these pieces in the middle, trying to figure out which piece fits better. But it seemed like every run that I saw from Jacobs was like 4 to 5 yards with ease. They were not able to stop him in the first half. They got a little better in the second half. What I want to get your thoughts real quick, Brandon, if you can hear us. If not, then I'll give it to Pete on our defensive coordinator. I'm not saying let's blame him about anything. I'm talking about, I want to get your thoughts on his ability to adjust, to grow. Have you seen enough growth in him that you're like, okay, you know what? It's not completely him. it's the players or is this or that? Or do you guys feel like, man, our players are hurt. He's not a good coordinator, and this is why we are where we're at. Brandon, are you able to speak? If you are, share on the defensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
yeah, I hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, I don't know, man. I'm kind of up in the air with Sorensen. A lot of people are not liking him either, to be honest. A lot of people think that he's not that great as a coordinator. I'm starting to get like that too. But I also have to say, too, is that uh, the defense hasn't played that bad, except for Sunday, of course. But I feel like they haven't played that bad.
That's a good point,
So
Brandon.
Mhm.
I'm not really blaming it on the defense. It's more of our offensive side of the ball, and we're not attacking. We're not playing like how we usually do the past couple of years. And Christian McCaffrey hasn't had one of those usual Christian McCaffrey games since he's come back from injury. And the fact that Kyle cannot see that um, is beyond me because Jordan Mason, once he got in there on Sunday, you saw him, he just took off, right? So you would think, oh, Jordan Mason's actually getting fucking yards of running the ball. So let's probably keep him out there. But no, that's not the case. So I'm not really blaming it too much on defense this year. I think it's completely offense, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I
I
hear
hate to
you.
say it.
And I'm not buying.
I,
I know some of the people in the comment. I'll give it right to you, Pete. I promise. I'm
yeah.
not buying that Mason is not blocking well. He's not catching
No,
well.
that's not a thing.
Exactly. I'm not buying it.
It's not a.
That's
Yeah.
Kyle is just stubborn with who he wants to go with. So, and everybody's free to their opinion, but I read in the comments where it's because of his lack of catching and how many yards does he have, or it's because his shoulder. I don't think it's now the shoulder could be more true than the blocking part in my thoughts, but when he runs, he hits that hole. He knows when that hole opens up and he hits it hard. I think it's Kyle. So I want you to elaborate more a little bit more, Pete, on that, and then go ahead and share what else you want to share.
Yeah, as far as Mason, the one target he got, he caught
Yep.
in the passing game. So
And you can't catch when you're not in there, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting to see out of the end. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, he knows more. Kyle knows more than we do because he sees it in practice." Okay, well, the practice isn't what is showing up on the field because every single week, every week he's telling us how great the practice was all week, and every week they come out undisciplined, penalties everywhere, and guys are missing opportunities to. I mean, I just want to talk about the defense for real quick because I see that all over the place. Get rid of Sorensen, or they're comparing Sorensen to uh, Wilkes. Sorry, to Wilkes. And here's the thing: like Wilkes was a veteran defensive coordinator that had head coaching experience and that had ran multiple really good defenses. This is Sorensen's first season as a defensive coordinator. He's gonna have growing pains, but on top of it, did Wilkes have the same injury issues last year? Was
No,
he missing
he
Bosa
had a
for
very
any amount of
healthy
time?
defense. Yep.
Yeah, was he missing? I mean, I know he didn't have Huff, but other than that, they stayed pretty healthy all season. I know they missed Greenlaw for a couple of games, but for the most part, they were pretty healthy, especially on the defensive line. And well, they missed some guys here and there.
The defense was, bro.
That
The defense was 10 times better than it is this year. To your point,
I would say that like they were not missing as many people as they are this year, and like so for people to expect the same statistics, and even then, where before this game, the 49ers were ranked 6th in total defense. That's what the TV said. I didn't think it was that high, but that's what Tom Brady, they said that they were 6th in overall defense. Like so as bad as they're playing, as bad as we think that they're playing, the statistics are telling you another story. Or it could just be that the rest of the league is so on defense as well this year. And but right now they're 20th in points against per game after that 38, after they gave up 38 points. Like that really skewed that stat. But then they're 6th in the league in total yards against per game. They're 6th in passing yards against per game. The rushing yards against per game, they're 11th. So that's middle of the pack. And then sacks, they're 13th, which I thought that they'd be way lower than that. Or way higher, I guess. And then interceptions, they're 7th in the league. And if they had caught the 2 that were right in their hands in this last game, they probably would be higher than 7th. The defense, I feel like Sorensen is putting them in position to make plays. That is the point of the defensive coordinator. To put them, yes, it is to motivate his guys and give them and play with discipline. But overall, it's to put them in a position to make plays. I feel like Sorensen is doing that. Like they're just not making plays. They're missing tackles like crazy. And Sorensen can't tackle for you at the end of the day. And it's not like last year where Wilkes had guys on islands and they would miss a tackle and go for 20. It's multiple guys missing back-to-back tackles.
Yep.
It's crazy amount of missed tackles in one play. So I don't want to kill Nick Sorensen. I just don't think that. I think that he's partly doing his job. Could he be better on getting his guys to clean up the missed tackles? I guess if you want to hold him accountable for that, but I think he's putting them in a position to make plays, and I just feel like the guys that are out there right now, they're not making the plays. They're not finishing.
The tackles have been terrible. Chris mentioned it, and I wanted to mention it again. He says 20 missed tackles in the first quarter, not the first half. First quarter.
That first half was just terrible.
Yeah, when you have 20 missed tackles in the first quarter, I don't care who the defensive coordinator is. It just can't happen. It just can't. You got to stop that running back. You got to stop those players. And I seen players like bouncing off. Like, man, they was just like boop, boop, boop. And they were just bouncing off the running back.
Question, Beto. I got a question for you. If let's say that he wants to hold those guys accountable for missing tackles, who is going to replace anybody out there right now?
At this point, very good point. Who do you going to, I mean, let's say Fred Warner missed tackles because he's not he's not healthy. Who are you going to bring in? Odom? I don't think so.
Or Devondre Campbell. Who are you going to bring in?
Yeah, and people don't like Campbell.
D Winners, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, and he hasn't been playing great ball either, even when he's healthy. Let's keep it real. He's been missing tackles himself. Our corners have missed tackles. When you have your safeties. Now, I want to give props to the young kid,
Mustafa
on that one tackle.
He is playing hard every game.
Yeah, he is the light up of that game. He came in like a seeding missile and just penetrated and stopped Jacobs. And even Jacob was like, dang, who hit me? But, you got players doing their job the best. But when you're missing tackles, and, you can practice not to miss tackles. You can, as a coordinator, you can sit there and speak it into their heads as much as you want. But at the end of the day, he's not playing football. He's just coaching players. When players are missing tackles like that, it's undisciplined. Undisciplined type of football, and you can't have that, especially when you're on the road and you're playing a team like Green Bay Packers. You're playing without your best defensive end. You're playing without your starting quarterback. You can't miss tackles. And another thing, self-inflicted wounds with penalties on offense.
Penalties.
It just drives me nuts. Brandon, what are your thoughts on these penalties? Now, before you say something, Brandon, I just want to give kudos to our left tackle that stepped in. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he got an 81.4 for tackling. What's his name? He stepped in for Trent Williams. We never liked him on the right side, but he played okay on the left, and he handled himself pretty damn good. Aaron Banks has been going backwards instead of forward, in my opinion. And listen, number 77, I know he's a rookie, Dominic Pooney, Brandon. He had 2 penalties all season. Or one penalty all season. And he had 2 in the first quarter of this game. What's going on in your opinion, Brandon?
Just it's the rookie in him. 3 penalties back to back to back, and it cost.
Yeah, 3 in the first half.
Well, I think it was because the quarterback changed. Brock Purdy's a completely different quarterback than Allen, and I think the rookie had a hard time adjusting personally. But go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, probably. I would say that too. Honestly, didn't it cost us some points too on one of his penalties.
I don't know about points, but I know it cost. It could have. I don't remember, but I know it cost us some good yards that you can't afford to give back to them, especially when you're playing on the road.
Right. Yeah. It's just, dude. That's been a thing with the Niners this season. Is the penalties are killing us, and it's killing us really, really bad to where it costs us games. They really need to work on being more
Discipline.
what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, disciplined, and not having this shit happen. Because perfect example is that big ass run Debo did on the kick return, and we got a holding call.
I think that was on
us.
Brindo, bro. And that one, my God,
Yeah.
not even get started on him.
I'm not gonna lie, the refs have been fucking horrible this year. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Oh, the ref?
Because that holding call was so weak, man. Let them play. Like, that was ridiculous. But yeah, so I mean, you know, offense just needs to get their head out of their culo and smell the freaking flowers, man. Because if they want to start winning games, this is not how you do it. They need to get their shit together.
Yeah. What is that name of that bird that likes to put his head in the sand? Is that an ostrich? Yeah. You can't be an ostrich with your head in the sand, bro. You gotta pop it out, see what's going on. Listen, when things go wrong, there's always a lot of things we can look at and complain about. But listen, somebody mentioned earlier, we're not getting rid of Kyle, and I agree. Getting rid of Kyle is not the answer. But for those that don't want to criticize Kyle, for those that don't want to blame Kyle, for those that believe that Kyle makes no mistakes, I don't agree with that either. He is our best option right now, and I don't want to get rid of Kyle. But could Kyle do things differently? Yes, he could. Do I wish he would? Yes, I do. Is that going to happen? Probably not. And it's just, that's the fun. You got to take the good and the ugly with him. The good is he's a great play caller. The bad is that he's stubborn and he wants to do it his way, even if it's not working. He wants to do it his way instead of improvising and try to do it different. Out of the games that are left, what has Kyle got to do as a head coach, in your opinion, Pete? Where does he have to change in his pride in this area, play calling, if he wants to give this team a chance? Because whatever he's been doing this year with the players that we have right now, it's not working. Something has to change. In your opinion, Pete, what do you think that is?
I mean, we talked about it a little earlier. It really just comes down to calling plays to take advantage of matchups. Which we haven't. He's never done that. So kind of expecting him to do that is kind of like, I mean, it's kind of insane to even think that he's going to do that. But I mean, that's really what needs to happen. We need to start taking advantage of matchups because the 49ers still have weapons. They still got George Kittle out there. I mean, regardless of how bad Debo played, I really think it's a recipe for they're not doing things to get him get him a good matchup. And most teams try to run plays to cause matchup issues for the other team. The 49ers don't do that. And I mean, that's not Kyle's way. Kyle runs the play. He says the answer is always in the play, and the quarterback just has to find where the answer is.
Yeah.
And it just continues to be an issue that we've got players that I think could make plays. They're just not given an opportunity to because the way the answer in the play is taking too much time to develop. And that can't 5 and 7 step drops went away a long time ago with Mike Martz, but somehow the 49ers trying to resurrect it.
Yeah.
Like I don't get that part either.
And what happened to all the screens? No screens at all, bro. No
like,
in or out.
There's a lot of stuff that we just don't see anymore out of Kyle. And I'm telling you, it's what it looks like to me is that they changed the philosophy and what we've seen more drop back passes than we've ever seen with this team. Less play action, and it's even with Brandon Allen in there. He threw the ball 29 times, and granted, we were behind. He had to throw the ball out at some point, but 29 times for a backup quarterback is a lot, in my opinion. And it didn't look like they were changing the offense at all. It looked like they were just trying to run the same offense with Brandon Allen instead of Brock Purdy. Which, who does that? Who does that? You're not gonna get the same level of play. And I don't even think Brandon Allen played bad necessarily, except for the fumble. Like the interception, to me, that's not even his fault. Like, so I didn't think he played bad at all. I think that the offensive line let him down a bunch. I think his receivers let him down. And, I mean, what else can you say? And I think Kyle honestly let him down a little bit with the play calling.
Just real quick, speaking of the offensive line, Jake Brindle needs to get benched.
Who are you going to put there?
Yeah.
Ass.
Who are you going to put there?
Who are you going to put there?
Well,
Feliciano's out for the season.
But he's out for the season.
Okay. So now
they
what?
can figure it out. Figure somebody out. We got backups. We got practice squad.
It's
figure
not
something out, man.
It's not Madden, bro. I hear your frustration.
Brindle just sits there.
Actually, it could get worse.
The quarterback gets sacked.
Yeah, I hear you.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you.
Have him.
I know this sounds like sacrilege, because I've hated this guy for years, but honestly, I want to see what Nick Sakel looks like at this point.
Brock Purdy's buddy.
Yeah, I want to see what he looks like because honestly, he didn't look too bad in the preseason, and I honestly, it can't, like Brandon said. I think at this point, it can't really get any worse unless you're really trying. Seriously trying to make the playoffs, and and then you got to go with the best players you got. And I don't think Nick Sakel is better than Brindle. But who knows? Like the guy,
what about the kid the kid from Michigan?
Oh yeah, well he's on the practice squad, isn't he?
Yeah, but they can bring him up. I mean, why not give him a chance?
Who are you going to get off? Who are you going to take off the squad to bring him up?
Yeah, that's
Jake Brindle.
Jake Brindle.
Yeah, so then he gets because somebody going to pick him up as a backup.
Yeah, you got to remember those are in the practice squad are players that normally people don't pick up. You know what? Yeah, you don't want to put as bad as Jake Brindle is. There'll be another team that will take him, and then we're stuck. Then we're stuck with putting Brandon in there.
Yeah, it's it's just a complicated situation but it's a complicated situation that the 49ers have created. We've been talking about them drafting a center since what year was Drake Jackson? Drafted. What was that? 2000? Was that 2021?
I think so. That center that went to the Raiders, bro. What's his name? The one that's center for the Raiders right now. We could have drafted him, and he's killing it with the Raiders. Suck.
We could have had Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
Because that was the first year that I said that they should have been.
But
they should. There are a
Shanny
lot of
does
us
not emphasize on the offensive line. He likes toys.
Used to. He used to. It was when and I talked about this on Twitter as well today. It was when Brindle, when they first started Brindle in the playoffs that one year, and he was serviceable, and then the next season they decided to run with him, and he became a Pro Bowl alternate. At that point, it was that point right then that they stopped investing in the offensive line as a whole, and like they started saying, oh well, we can get by just running guys out there. And and they thought they could do it all the way across the line. They told you that when they let McKivitz stay at right tackle. They told you that when they put Burford in that spot and they were just platooning him back and forth with Daniel Brunskill. They stopped caring. It was Brindle was the start of it all. And it was that point that they changed their philosophy around the offensive line. And on the defensive side, they stopped caring after they drafted Drake Jackson. Well, they brought in Javon Hargrave, but they changed the philosophy on what they wanted on that defensive line. They went smaller. They started going smaller and being all about getting upfield and rushing the passer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a really weird philosophy change.
Regardless of what this season entails, if we lose the rest of the season or, every game right now is important. If we don't get there, I hope that Kyle can sit back and reflect on this, and maybe me being wishful, but hopefully they can change that mindset once again and go back to fixing that line. They have to improve that line on the offseason and give Brock Purdy a chance. If we had a good offensive line, I know that we would be able to do more than what we're doing, and Brock Purdy running for his life. Brock Purdy can't make his reads because the offensive line is being broken down. Do you think that should be a priority? Now, I'm not saying from your point, because I know you love offensive linemen as I do. So yes, it's a priority for us. But do you think that'll be a Niners priority to go after offensive linemen? Or do you think Kyle's like, nope, I'm still going to do it my way. And I'm going to create and design plays to hop the offensive line and not just bolster the offensive line? Any of you guys can answer that.
Go ahead, Brandon.
No. It's just gonna be another draft without focusing on the O line. It's just the Kyle way. Not much to say about it, man. I mean, if we really were focusing on the O line, we would have done it a long time ago. And it's just gonna be another year of drafting everything else but the O line. It is what it is.
It's tough, man.
I just think that they've changed their philosophy around it. I don't think I think Kyle's got a built-in excuse this season because of all the injuries that he's just gonna run it back with this O-line again next year. And and he's gonna blame it. He's gonna point to some you see all of the what's it called? All the advanced metric, all the bean counters on Twitter, talking about Brendel is the only one that stinks on the offensive line. They've got advanced metrics to show that everybody else is fine. It's just Brendel. Okay, well, guess what, Kyle?
That's not what the tape is showing.
That's not what the tape is showing, but that's not what Kyle needs. Just needs an excuse to keep running with the way he's doing things, and that's what he's going to do. He just wants it to not be glaringly obvious But I'm guaranteeing you, they might do something with Brindle, but I could see them maybe trade for a veteran center, but they're not going to draft one. I don't think that that's going to happen.
I just don't understand. If you're going to invest the amount of money that the Niners are going to do in Brock Purdy, and at this point, I don't want to hear about whether he's worth the 60 or 65, whatever that money amount is at the time of signing Brock. It's not a matter whether he's worth it or not in each other's opinions. It's about, this is who you have. Brandon Allen and Jobs is who's backing them up. Dobbs, excuse me. If you're going to pay, in my opinion, 60 to 65 million for Brock Purdy, don't you want to get an offensive line that's going to protect your investment and not get him killed out there? I understand that Brock Purdy is able to run and get out of trouble with his legs, but that's going to get old at some point. I want him to design run plays instead of running out of because the pocket is caving in. We need to focus on, in my opinion, center and tackle. Right tackle. And let's be honest, Trent Williams, I don't know. He's great. He's good, but he's up there in age, man. And they got to start focusing on this area because if they want to stay within the window, you got to have an offensive line that can protect your quarterback and allow your quarterback to make plays. I don't like Harbaugh, never really did, but I do like Harbaugh that he's in the trenches. He wants to build from within out. He wants to build in within the offensive line and the defensive line backward. And they've been running the ball very well. They almost won against the Ravens, but I don't know. I want the Niners to work on that offensive line. Will they do it? I don't know. Probably not. But everybody loves shiny toys. Everybody loves that receiver. Everybody loves that running back. I'm old-fashioned. I don't care if it's boring to draft a lineman. I believe in building the offensive line. I remember a couple years back when Mike Singletary was the coach, and they drafted 2 offensive linemen in the first round. I was at the draft party. Niner fans were all pissed off. What? 2 offensive linemen?
I was happy.
What about the receiver? What about a tight end? And it's like, yes, those are the shiny toys. But those toys don't work if you can't give your quarterback opportunity to get the ball to them. And it starts offensive line. Those unsung heroes that you need. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They struggled offensively. When they lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl because that offensive line was trash. They immediately fixed it. And they don't have receivers. Now, they have Patrick Mahomes, yes. They don't have great receivers, great running backs, but they're winning games because of that offensive line. And I hope the Niners turn around and do something because, to me, if they don't really fix that offensive line, I don't care if they bring in a future Hall of Fame quarterback or running back or receiver. You got to fix that line, and I'm tired of this scheme line. We're going to scheme him. But when the scheme breaks down, then what, Kyle? And what's his name on the outside? Help me out, guys. Our right tackle right now. McKivitz. He has some good games, but for the most part, it's like he's a fan. He looks at his defender and he watches him come around him and tackle his quarterback. Instead of, and it's like
he's no better than McGlinchey. He's no better than McGlinchey. I would say that I
think McGlinchey was better.
Oh no,
not in the run game.
I don't think.
I mean, not in the pass game.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that I think McKivitz is a tiny bit better than McGlinchey in the pass game, but in the run game, it's not even close. Because the 49ers used to be able to run to the right side, and now they can't even. Now they can't. They have to go to the left.
Yep.
Every time.
And look at what you gave up, and look at what you gave up to lose on. You got a little bit better on the passing game, but then you really, really hurt yourself in the run game. And it's like, to me, in order for you to sacrifice the run game, you got to be really good in the pass game. and I'm not seeing that from him. I don't know, guys. I want to see you guys in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Are you guys upset? Do you guys think the Niners should build a better offensive line? And when I say the Niners, I'm talking about Kyle. Because if there's a reason I want Kyle to be fired, if I ever do, it's because he's not putting emphasis on that offensive line. It's not because of his play calling. It's not because of his ego. It's because he needs to emphasize on that offensive line to make it work. And I hope they do that. We are 5 minutes to an hour. We're 32 deep. Guys, I'll give it to Brandon real quick. Brandon, where can people follow you? What can they, what do you have going on your channel? This is your opportunity to let everybody know how they can reach you, bro.
Yeah, so go ahead and follow
Oops.
me over on
I do that
YouTube.
all the time. Sorry.
Forever Faithful Podcast on YouTube. Also, we're on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What else? I think that's it. But if you don't want to listen or see my face, not listen, but see my ugly ass face.
If they
you
don't
can
want to see
go
your
ahead
face
and
or
go
listen,
to-
bro, now we're in trouble.
That's what I'm saying, right? I'm sorry, I'm freaking driving right now, so freaking
Oh,
doing too much right now. But anyways,
you're not driving an airplane, bro.
well, you see my starlights back there.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
um, so yeah, so Forever Faithful Podcast, anywhere, social media, get all your 49er updates, and we're also trying to do a show later in the week, probably Friday after Thanksgiving, to preview the Bills game with my other boys, Christian and Dion and Anshul, and Beto maybe, and Pete, if you want to, let me know. Um, but yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and yeah, we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please help out the channel. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you for the support.
Appreciate it. Pete, where can they get a hold of you? What do you have going on?
So Niner Fanatic Podcast. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. And I'm also anywhere where you can get your audio podcast. So there is no excuse. Like the only excuse is you just don't like hearing from me, which I'm not going to take that as an excuse. I need you there with me. I need you to feel my pain. I need you to feel my pain with me. So, but I will be doing another show this Friday for sure. Whether I'll have somebody with me, I have no idea. But but you'll at least have me there, and hopefully you'll be there as well, and we can just cry together about this Niner team and about this terrible football that we've been seeing. And we're gonna get you ready for the game versus the Bills, come hell or high water, and yeah, and then right after the game on Sunday, then I'll be going live on an instant reaction show. So be on the way for that. We've been getting a lot of people in on Sundays after the game. So yeah, make your way on over. Appreciate everybody. I love all the interaction. So
That's awesome. My bird decided to wake up, but at least they woke up at the end of our show, so that's a good thing. But for us, when I say us, as for me on my channel, normally Thursdays we have our podcast with Jess from East Coast Red and Gold at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But we're not going to have
Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, guys. We're not going to be having a show this Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll resume next Thursday at 5 p.m. every Tuesday at 6:30 with my boys. And I think we're going to be taking a guest every week. So if you want to be on our show, let us know. Talk to me, Pete, or Brandon, and we'll see what we can do to bring you on as a guest on our show. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family, your loved ones.
Happy Thanksgiving!
And remember, don't eat too
Sweet
much.
potato pie, not pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Don't eat too much turkey and enjoy football. We get 3 games on Thursday, right? If I'm not
And
mistaken.
they're all shit.
Football's football.
From the guy that you can't see in the background, They're all shit like my camera. Who's playing on Thursday, by the way?
All
I
the
don't even
shitty
look
teams.
like.
Let me see real quick.
Cowboys.
Let me
Cowboys
see real quick.
against
So Thursdays is the Bears and Lions. Cowboys and Giants. The evening game is not going to be too bad. It'll be Miami at Green Bay.
Oh, that'll be a good game.
That'll be
Lot
a
of
good
And
game.
we have a Black Friday game, the Raiders versus Chiefs.
Yeah, They could have picked a
that's-
better game, but
Right? You ain't lying.
oh my god,
That's bargain. That's bargain basement for sure.
go do your shopping instead of watching that game.
I'll definitely be shopping.
But all right, guys, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. We always appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for partaking. You guys are the true MVPs of the show. We will see you next Tuesday, God willing, at 6:30 right here. Until then, see you later.
Niners.
Sayonara, and
Go
enjoy
Niners.
Thanksgiving. Go Niners.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy